Hello and welcome to Realty Buzz. This is Mansi Dave and here I come with a show wherein you'll be updated about the latest trends in the real estate industry, policy changes and all. In all, every update that's related to real estate industry. The Cultural Ministry has proposed to categorize all central protected monuments in Delhi as A, B and C based on significance, location and size. Protection accorded to each building will be based on the category it is placed in. If Kale Khan Ka Gumbad is categorized B or C, Mittal might just receive permission to build the first floor width and prohibited zone radius getting reduced from 100 meter to 50 or less. Mittal is not alone. There are thousands other waiting for the amendment to undertake essential repairs and construction in their homes. Curbs on construction within 100 meters of monuments were first imposed when the ASI Act was framed in 1992, but permission continued to be granted on case-to-case basis. However, the 2010 amendment and formation of National Monuments Authority led to the blanket ban on such construction. Strict regulations were imposed on development within 100 to 300 meter of monuments. Delhi has hundreds of monuments located in midst of residential colonies, mostly in south and central Delhi. In areas like Gulmohar Park, Safdarganj Enclave, House Khas, South Extension Mehrauli, Saket, Malviya Nagar, Rana Pratap Bagh and Nizamuddin, the new law has hit hard. People who built homes or bought plots much before the ASI Act came into force in 1992 say the curbs are a travesty of justice. I can't move a brick in my single-story house that was built in 1969. Some of my family members have medical problems and I need a second floor. Since my house lies 97 meters from the boundary of Biran Ka Gumbad, I cannot construct anything, said a Green Park resident. Almost 80% of South Extension falls within prohibited and regulated zones. The colony was built in 1959. At that time, most people could not afford a ground floor. As time passed, the people came into money. They built additional floors to accommodate their growing families. Then the act came into force. Many houses are now falling to pieces because just getting permission for repairs is a long process. The property value here is less than even in Okhla, said Manjeet Singh, General Secretary, Association of Citizens. In Shivalik Colony, empty plots can be seen on the main road and these serve as parking lots. The owners cannot build their homes here because the plots fall in the prohibited zone of Sarai Sarji. They are just waiting for some relief in ASI Act so they can build their dream homes. Coming on to the next news, the Mamata Banerjee-led government in West Bengal has become more investment-friendly in the last few months. Property consultancy firm Jones Lang LaSalle chairman and country head has said. In the last 10 months, it was noticed that the West Bengal government has become more investment-friendly and is willing to do business with big private players, Anuj Puri said while interacting with media persons here last night. On meeting government officials, it is found that they are very receptive and they want to hear about the problems faced and what can be done to remove the obstacles, he said, elaborating. More investments in real estate sector in West Bengal would mean more employment opportunities for the people, economic growth of the state and infrastructural development, he said. The government is informed about what more can be done to bring more investment in the real estate sector, like lowering of registration and stamp duty tax and other taxes, quick clearance for big value projects and changes in the Urban Land Ceiling Act, Puri added. He said that there was huge demand for residential projects in 40 lakh to 50 lakh ranges in the state. About premium real estate projects, he said there has been no decline in the demand, but supply was more than demand. Coming on to the next news, Singapore was ranked the world's most expensive city for the second consecutive year by the Economist Intelligence Unit recently. Expats have voiced concerns about high living expenses, tightening foreign labor policies and daunting education costs for their children at international schools. But life might just be getting a little easier. Government data on Friday showed an index measuring rentals drop to its lowest in January to March since the first quarter of 2011. The level of rents is expected to decline further as more housing projects are completed. Prime residential areas including the financial district and around the central Orchard Road shopping stretch have seen a steepest drop in the rentals. In the fourth quarter of 2014, the average monthly rent of high-end condominiums tracked by Savills Research and Consultancy fell 5.8% on year to $4.57 per square foot. Rents are easing in step with plateauing property values, particularly in the luxury segment, which had soared in recent years due to Singapore's popularity as an investment destination for wealthy Asians. The government has put in measures since 2009 to cool one of the world's most expensive real estate markets. Singaporeans have been largely shielded from the drama, as most of them own a live-in so-called Housing and Development Board, flats built by the government. As the outlook for private homes market cools, vacancy rates for sold and unsold completed units in this segment is likely to hit 10% by end of next year from 7.2% in the first quarter, said Kristen Lee, Director of Research at Cushman & Wakefield in Singapore. That will give prospective and existing tenements more bargaining power over lease lengths and rent. It's definitely a tenant's market, Lee said. The next news on board, Haryana government has decided to develop industrial zones on the city's outskirts where industries operating in residential areas can be relocated, a move that is expected to bring down pollution levels. The decision was taken by the Directorate of Urban Local Bodies, which has directed municipal corporations to prepare a policy for shifting these industries out of the residential areas. The ULB held a meeting with the State Industries and Commerce Department in Chandigarh on Wednesday to assign municipal corporations the responsibility of identifying industrial zones on the outskirts of respective cities and develop basic infrastructure for the industries in consultation with local industrials. Officials of MCG's planning wing said they will soon conduct a survey to list the number of industrial units operating in the residential areas. Well, by a rough estimate, there are around 2,000 factories, mostly auto parts manufacturers, in Gurgaon's residential areas such as Daulatabad, Jakapura, Subhashnagar, Khandsa, Narsinghpur, Hans Enclave, etc., which adds to pollution in these areas. MCG will soon identify land in Huda and its own areas for industry zones, which it will then develop along with Haryana State Industrial and Infrastructure Development Corporation, said a senior MCG official. Last year, Punjab and Haryana High Court in its order had directed to state government to prepare a policy on this and initiate the shifting process, all within 6 months by February 16, 2015, when the court found that the state government was sitting on the order on the last date of compliance. It once again directed the state to initiate the policy framing process. This finally goaded the state government into action. The petitioners who had raised concerns about the presence of industrial units in residential zones pleaded before the High Court that these factories were a nuisance as they led to air, water and noise pollution endangering residents' health. They added that under provision of the Act and its bylaws, authorities have given due notices to stop industrial activities in these residential zones. Acting on the petition, Justice Paramjit Singh on July 9, 2014 had observed that there was a dire need to shift these polluting units, not only in public interest but also in interest of the units. This was because it would preempt unnecessary future litigation, as many of the polluting units also manufacture dangerous and hazardous materials. He went on to direct the state to first frame a policy and then submit a compliance report. So these were the development and trends in the real estate industry that made headlines. For more information on the real estate industry, stay tuned to Spin TV. Goodbye, take care.